This is the quick audio test of Samsung Galaxy A55 and A56. We have triple camera setup on both phones, seeing 50 megapixel main, 12 megapixel ultra-wide, and 5 megapixel macro. The main difference is the front camera of Samsung Galaxy A56. It's a 12 megapixel sensor versus the 32 megapixel of Galaxy A55. Hope you can hear the difference in terms of the audio. I think that's it for the audio test. Let the battle begin. The background blur is stronger on Galaxy A55. Both are set to 7, but Galaxy A56 has gradual blur. There's also bokeh balls on A56, which is really nice. Going on details, my jacket and the overall look like the grass and the trees are better exposed on the newest mid-range. But in terms of skin tone, they almost have the same level of smoothness, but the skin tone is a bit natural on the new A56. On 2x, Galaxy A55 loses on the battle because it only has one focal length, which is 1x. The addition on Galaxy A56 is we have two focal length, 1x and 2x for the portrait mode. Definitely if you want 50mm field of view, then go for the newest A56. Can't keep me down, I glow up. Won't stop me now, I show. We have an upgrade on the selfie, even though it's only 12 megapixel versus the 32 megapixel of Galaxy A55. You will notice sharpness on the newest model. Also, my face is very detailed and the skin tone is natural looking. Now this is the video quality test, starting with the selfie video recording 4K 30 FPS. So we have a 32 megapixel sensor on Samsung Galaxy A55 and we have 12 megapixel on Samsung Galaxy A56. Both are f2.2. In terms of video quality, I really like the video quality of Galaxy A56 in terms of skin tone, natural looking. It's just a little bit warm on Galaxy A55. This is my rant for the last year of using this phone. But I'm glad on my personal choice, I'd like the video more on the selfie video recording of Galaxy A56. Now let's check the rear cameras. Now we're testing the rear camera, starting with the ultra-wide lens in 4K 30 FPS. This is a 12 megapixel sensor f2.2. This is a 123 degrees field of view, so it's wider on all the sensors we have on both phones. In terms of video quality, I think warmer on Galaxy A55. You have more colors as well. And again, natural looking neutral tone on Galaxy A56. Which phone do you prefer in terms of skin tone and the colors of the surroundings? Now let's check the main sensor. Now we're testing the main sensor, 50 megapixel sensor on both phones, f1.8. So in terms of video quality, we have stronger contrast and warmer on Samsung Galaxy A55, and we have neutral tone and I think a little bit brighter and better exposed on Galaxy A56. I'm not sure if I'm seeing it right on both of the screens. Let me know your comments down below if that's the case. I think that's it for the main sensor. Now let's check the 2x digital crop. And lastly, we're testing the 2x digital crop on both phones. We're just cropping into the 50 megapixel sensors of both phones. There's no optical zoom. The other sensor is a 5 megapixel macro sensor or macro lens, f2.4. So it doesn't record any video. I think that's it for our video quality test. Now let's check the image quality. On the image test, you will see that Galaxy A55 is more vivid than the competition, looking at the sky and the yellow sign. But looking at the 50 megapixel sensors of both phones, they're very detailed and sharp. On challenging situations, you would see that both phones are struggling with the sharpness, but in terms of flaring and highlights, both phones are very similar. Again, if you're doing a blind test on both phones, you would hardly notice the difference. I think both phones are really good for its price, especially the newest A56 with the new looking camera module. But in terms of different FOV, we have ultra-wide main sensor and 2x crop. And going to the 4K zoom, the mid-range Samsung is only limited to 10x. Good thing about both phones are they have the same dedicated 5 megapixel macro camera. And going for the slow motion, there's no difference between these two phones. They can shoot full HD, but the colors on A56 is better than the older model. Now we're testing the stabilization and the outdoor shot. Starting with the selfie video recording in UHD 30 FPS. We're also using an external microphone for this test. So looking at the sky, it's a little bit cloudy today, so there's no blue sky. In terms of colors, I think almost the same. I like the sharpness and the colors on Samsung Galaxy A56. Even on my skin, you can see more details on the newer A56. It's a little bit muted on A55. Now let's check the video stabilization. Now let's test the rear cameras. Now we're testing the rear cameras of both phones. Again, UHD 30 FPS, that's the highest resolution for both phones. Look at the details. Let's check the grass really quick. This is the same sensor. 12 megapixel sensor, so there's not much of a difference. I think the biggest difference here is the color of the tree. You can see better colors on Galaxy A56. It's a little bit purplish and muted on Galaxy A55. The lenses are clean, just so you know. Let's check the video stabilization. Now switching to the main sensor, 1X, again, same 50 megapixel sensor. Look at the colors of the trees. I think they're the same. Galaxy A55 crushes the blacks a little bit. I'm not sure if just the screen. And looking at the details, more details on Samsung Galaxy A56. Looking here, again, maybe just the screen of the two phones, but let me know in the comment section. Again, let's check the video stabilization. We also have 2x crop on both phones, so this is the quality. And on the farthest zoom, we got 10x on Galaxy A56, also 10x on Galaxy A55. Same quality in terms of sharpness and details. Main sensor, which phone do you think is better? On night shots, better exposure on the latest model, looking at the roads and the building. The sky is also brighter on Galaxy A56 compared to the older A55. Generally, A56 is brighter and better exposed. Sharpness are almost the same, it's just a difference on the white balance. Warmer on Galaxy A55 and natural looking on A56. The colors on A56 somehow resembles the newest S25 series. On pitch black condition or darker situation, I noticed that Galaxy A56 is brighter than the competition, better exposed than the older model. Also, the white balance is very good, definitely just a software manipulation from Samsung, but that's what you get if you have the newest model. Here, I would show you all sensors from the ultra-wide main sensor and even the 2x crop. This is the low-light video recording test on Samsung Galaxy A55 and A56. 4K 30 FPS, sadly there's no 60 FPS on both of these mid-range phones. This is a 32 megapixel sensor on Galaxy A55 and a little bit of downgrade on the resolution, 12 megapixel on Galaxy A56. But in terms of video quality, I think they're almost the same. Smoother on Galaxy A56 and there's more details on my face on Galaxy A55. In terms of colors, a little bit brighter on A55 and natural looking on A56. Now let's check the rear cameras. Now we're testing the rear cameras of both phones. This is ultra wide lens in 4K 30 FPS. We're also using an external microphone to record our voice because it's a little bit far on these two phones. So in terms of the specs, we have 12 megapixel sensor on Galaxy A55 f2.2. While we have 12 megapixel sensor f2.2 as well on Galaxy A55. I think they're the same sensor, 1/3.06. I think that's it for the ultra wide test. Now let's check the main sensor. Now we're using the main sensors on both phones. Again, 4K 30 FPS. We cannot shoot 60 FPS on any of the sensors on the mid-range Samsung phones. So we have a 50 megapixel sensor f1.8 on both phones. Same 1/1.56 sensors. So I think this is the best sensors for video recording in terms of low light condition because you will have brighter, better exposed, and detailed video on all the sensors for Galaxy A55 and A56. I think that's it for the main sensor. Let's try 2x digital crop. And lastly, we have 2x crop on both phones. So we're just cropping in on the 50 megapixel sensor of both phones. So this is the video quality using the digital 2x on both phones. So in terms of selfie video recording, main sensor, ultra wide, and even the crop, which phone do you think is better? This is Samsung Galaxy A55 in 4K 30 FPS. And this is Samsung Galaxy A56 also in 4K 30 FPS, the highest resolution on both phones. I think that's it for a camera comparison video between A55 and A56. Is it worth it to upgrade to the latest version? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.